Weekly Sauce, episode 62. 61 is in the books. We covered UFC 365, 265. I made the same mistake like I did last time, Alex. UFC 265. It was awesome, man. Honestly, the card was sick. So we're going to continue that. We have an MMA fighter on, Dre Miley out of Pro X MMA. We're going to talk to him in a couple seconds. But before that, as usual, it's Mike's BBQ Rub. Visit Mike's BBQ Rub, mtel.com, and use Hot Sauce 10 for 10% off the entire site. It's the best, man. The truffle sauce, Alex, one day I'm actually going to send it to you. I always say I'm going to send it to you. One day I actually will. The truffle sauce is one of the best things ever. Hopefully, maybe they'll add a little spice into it for our friend, our guest that we have on today, Dre Miley. First, I'm going to go to you, Alex. How you going, buddy?
I'm doing good, man. It's been heat after heat wave here in California, and I can't wait for it to stop.
Yeah, same here in Montreal. So we got Dre Miley, 8-5, pro MMA fighter. How are you, man?
Doing pretty good, man. How you doing?
We're good, man. Thanks for coming on. I saw the way this happened was you went out on Twitter and you're like, anybody want to have me on your show? I'm coming on. And I said 100% after back and forth, here and there. We finally get you on. It's been a couple weeks in the waiting. We appreciate you coming on, man. So where are you at now? You're driving to the gym, you were telling us before, right? But where parts in the States is that?
I'm driving into my gym, which is located in South Knoxville. So it's a pretty good little drive from where I live at. So that's where I'm headed at right now. And hopefully, it seems like traffic's picking up, so this should be a fun little moment.
And how did you get into the sport?
Well, I was 17 and I had lost my eye in a car wreck. And after having, bunch of football scholarships and teams back off of me, and I needed something to, I guess refuel my competitive side, and I stumbled on watching TV after getting badgered by my grandparents and everybody around me saying, you need to get out and do something. And I found UFC on TV, and then I was like, I'd like to try that. And I started Googling places in Knoxville. And, I never intended on fighting. I just wanted to do it just because I thought it was fun. It'd be nice to know what they're doing, because it's what you do as an athlete. You like to see what other athletes are doing. And then 5 years later, here I am, a pro athlete. I've been training for about 12 years now. So.
Oh, okay. Where were you supposed to go? Where'd you get D1 scholarships to?
Well, I think I had a couple of D1 schools looking. I think Georgia Tech was looking at me for one, and I forgot the other one, but most of them were like Carson Newman and Austin P and little bitty stuff like that. King's College wanted me at one point. Nice. So it was a lot of places.
What position did you play?
I played running back.
I was going to ask you. Smaller for sure running back.
Yeah.
What are you weighing in at now?
Up the receiver.
What are you weighing in at now?
Right now, I'm probably about 58-ish.
And back then?
So, back then, I was about 170.
Oh, okay. So you're still a tiny guy. Now running backs weigh 200 pounds, and they run and they're running 4.3s. What was your 40?
Yeah, my 40.
Yeah, back then.
My 40 was 4.3.
Oh yeah. How old are you now?
I'm 30. I just turned 30 about a few months ago.
Trying to figure out what timelines I can find you, like the recruiting year, like who was coming out that year. But we're not here to talk about football. We're here to talk about your MMA career. So you just stumbled into your gym. You said you lost your eye in a car accident. Most guys would just sit down and do nothing, but you decided to go and try to fight somebody in the most dangerous sport in the world.
That's what you got to do. Sometimes you got to test it.
It's how you got to put things into perspective, yeah?
Yeah.
What's your mixed martial arts background? Like are you more like you're wrestling, you're BJJ, kickboxing?
I would say that my style is more of a wrestler than anything else. I do like striking, I do like the intricacies of jiu-jitsu, but something that I love about wrestling, I get super excited. So I really don't think I was supposed to play football. I really think I was supposed to wrestle, because I can follow wrestling better than I can follow football, which is just bizarre to me. But I really believe that wrestling is like my base. So I love it. It sucks. Everybody hates wrestling, but like everybody in the gym is like, hey, if you want to wrestle, you go to Dre and he'll tell you how to wrestle, or he'll show you wrestling, or he'll wrestle you to death. So I normally get all the wrestlers come to me and they'll ask me questions.
Who's come out of your gym that we might know? The guys that you train with?
Vince, He fights there.
OSP.
He trains out there. Yeah, OSP. He trains out there. Shannon Young, she just fought for UFC not too long ago.
Yeah.
Taylor Turner, she fought for Bellator twice. Emily King, she fought for Bellator twice.
Nice.
Jason King, he fought Raymond Daniels.
Yeah.
There's a few more people coming out. You know, a lot of us, myself included, we're on that verge of getting signed by Bellator and UFC guys. So we're getting closer. We're getting more people out there.
That's good, man. And now, all that does is just heightens everybody else, right? So it's like if OSP is doing well, if you're doing well, then everybody else does well, right? So it's obviously a key. How important is the team? I mean, do you guys? I know you just mentioned 2 girls and 3 guys in 3 different weight classes. So how important is the team? Are you guys tight? Do you guys go out to eat every day? Like, how's it work with you guys? What's your dynamic?
We're a tight knit. You know, we're a tight knit family. You know, we don't necessarily call ourselves a team because it doesn't really fit our culture. We're more of a family, so we have like kids classes and the kids come watch our fights, and you know, they buy merchandise and stuff like that. So our family is really, really tight. Like, our culture is basically based around the Swahili term of Ubuntu, which means I am because we are. So we really can't be anywhere without each other. So if that answers your question.
Definitely. I mean, the thing is that people don't realize just because you're in there on your own, yeah, it's a as much as an individualistic sport like tennis is, but at the end of the day, you rely on your teammates to make you better. And up until that point, up until before you get into the octagon or the ring or the cage, wherever it is, you're working with team. You're not just by yourself. As soon as you get in there, then it's you versus the other guy, and that's it.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's something that people don't realize.
What were some of the challenges you faced when you decided to get into MMA?
I've had commissions tell me no. I had my own state tell me no several years. It took me at least 3 years just to fight in Tennessee again. I was fighting everywhere else. You know, all my amateur fights are not on Tapology because they're unsanctioned. So there was no governing bodies and there's watching the fights. You just showed up and you fought. So that was hard to deal with when your own state is like no, but surrounding states are like, yeah, we'll let you fight. Yeah, come on, we want to see this. We'll make money off this. I was like, Tennessee's just a bunch of crazy people. And like, yeah, because like Georgia and South Carolina and all those guys were like, yeah, man, come on, we'd love to have you on. We know about your story. We would love to have you, you know, showcase yourselves, blah, 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 you know. But Tennessee was like, nope, it's scientifically impossible. Like, I don't get how you tell me it's scientifically impossible. There's like, you can drive a car, but you can't fight. That doesn't make sense, like, at all. You want me driving a $2,000 death machine around, but you won't let me take a punch to the face. Like, you guys are just ridiculous. And then I guess the other thing was just depth perception. You know, it sucks to say, but, you know, I feel like I'm getting a better grasp of it now because it always changes. Depth perception in the very beginning was the hardest thing. Like, I left sparring just bruised up, both nose, black eye, stuff like that. And then I was like, man, I can't do this much longer. Like, something's good. You know, my coach pulled me to the side and was like, hey, man, I want you to start working on this. Like, I want you to start working on, like, how to accommodate your left side because, you know, everybody's going to come to it. So we have to figure out how to make it your weapon. Like, yeah, you're right. So start working on it. So depth perception and the government bodies has been the hardest parts for me to overcome in this sport. So far, I think I'm doing pretty good.
Yeah. At a record 8-5, you know, you would think with the way that people that refuse you saying that you're not going to be able to survive in there, you would be 0-13. You know what I mean? Like, it wouldn't be the fact that you've won 8 fights with this disability is already outstanding in itself. You know, let alone somebody else telling you can't do it, right? So, I mean, good on you for taking those challenges. I mean, I don't know too many people that would. People be like this, and it's too dangerous. But then you see, you know, guys like Mike Bisping, man, who freak accident, lost his eye. You have that guy that has one arm, Nick Sewell,
Shaq Griffin in the NFL.
Yeah, Shaquille Griffin in the NFL. Like, I understand football with one eye because there's a lot of blindside stuff. It's dangerous.
But he had no hands.
He had no hands. Shaquille Griffin. But the thing is, he can see everything that's happening, right? But I understand in football the one eye that they don't allow it because, you know, I played football my entire life. There's blindside hits that happen with 2 eyes, you know, so it's dangerous. But when you're
Yeah.
fighting, you're keeping the guy in front of you at all times. So it just doesn't make sense why they would refuse somebody who's willing to put themselves in that situation, having seen all these results and all these precedents. You know what I mean? So it's pretty crazy. But good on you for wanting to continue and entertain us. So your last fight didn't go the way you wanted. Tell us about that against John Sweeney. You didn't like the decision from what you were telling us. So take us through the whole fight and what happened.
It was pretty much how he was supposed to win that fight. You know, I knew he was going to come out hot and heavy, you know, swinging for the fences. It just happened. I got clipped, but I don't think that the stoppage should have been stopped. Like, if you're going to let me go out, let me go out. Like, you knocked me out, cool, but that was like one of those things where he drops me and I get back up, you land 2 punches and the fight's over. So, but then the fight afterwards, the same ref watched the dude get dropped, and this dude was completely out, and he just let this dude get blasted and fight through it. I was like, you gotta be kidding me. It's like, come on, man, let me keep fighting. It's like, let me go out. If he's gonna knock me out, knock me out. Don't mercy it. Don't give me a mercy rule and be like, oh well, we thought you was going out. And I want him to put me out.
And I watched that fight, and it was early, but I can understand also the ref that's saying, like, the ref it's a tough situation for them, right? Because they're looking at it like, I have to protect this guy, but then the fighter's looking at it as like, well, let me protect myself. That's what I'm here for, right? So it's a tough argument to make on both sides, but yeah, I did think that ref was just looking out to protect you. And do you feel like refs are protecting you a little bit more because of your disability, or do you think that they treat you just the same as they would treat anybody else for the most part?
I feel like some refs do, because like fighting at Valor, they see me fight a lot, so now they don't have to worry about, like, if he's out, they'll know if I'm done because they've seen me fight, you know. Yeah. Then some refs who've never seen me fight, or they don't do their homework, or they're pretty much incompetent, they're not going to do that. They're going to try to save their own necks. So it was one of those things where, like, damned if you do and damned if you don't. So ultimately it falls upon me to, you know, get that fight out the way. I was like, I shouldn't have never done it. You know, it eats me up at night, you know, pisses me off. Yeah. Because I really don't like the kid, and the kid took a whole year of, like, you know, not necessarily doing the right thing, and it was just a lot going into that fight, which I'm glad it's over. So
glad it's over, and hopefully now you're fighting. Well, you're waiting for a fight now, so we'll see what happens with that, Alex.
And speaking of new promotion, you know, like not recognizing you and not knowing you, which ex-MMA, any reasons why you chose ex-MMA, or and how many fights on your contract do you have?
I didn't necessarily sign a contract. It was more of like a one-time thing. So you come in and fight for us, and we'll see what happens. So it was pretty cool fighting for him. You know, it was good to get on the card with UFC vets and Bellator vets. I guess it was just more exposure. I guess the only win I took from that was the fact that how it feels to be in a big fight, and also like all the followers and support that I got from that fight alone. Because a lot of people were like, "Man, you look great out there." I was like, dude, I was only out there for like 30 seconds. But like fans were like blowing me up, and they were like, "Man, you're so cool," and blah, blah, blah. Like every day I wake up, I have like at least 10 more followers. Like it's ridiculous. And it's humbling because like I'm getting messages from like kids' parents are saying that my kid I had one today. She was like, my kid has the same thing going on with his eye, and he almost quit wrestling. But then he saw your fight in July, that he was there in person, and it gave him more of a push and stuff like that. So I was like, this is really what it's about. It's like, damned if I go to UFC or damned if I go to Bellator. If I keep getting messages like this, I don't have to train to kill anybody. You know what I'm saying? I can just fight, you know, because I know people are watching. I don't have to worry about trying to pull people to watch me. People are already watching.
Yeah, I had never heard of XMMA before I saw you were part of that promotion. John Dotson was supposed to fight on that card, and a friend of the show, Louis Samudakis, replaced John Dotson on that card, so we had another reason to watch that fight too. He ended up losing by KO as well that same evening. So I'm watching the fight. I'm watching the event. It's the first XMMA event that I've seen, and the broadcast is great. You know, I mean, like obviously it's not the same level as like, you know, talk about Bellator and the higher and the UFC and the higher ones, but overall, the broadcast was fantastic. I think they did a great job in explaining who the fighters were and all of that. A Montreal guy, Jamie Boom Boom Mancini. You spoke to him, I think. He was doing like some of the color commentary. He's a good dude, and he was there as well, and he was hyping it up. It was a good overall experience, and I'm gonna watch the next ones coming up for sure.
Yeah, they're a great promotion. I'd fight for them again. 10 times out of 10. I told them next time they have a card on, let me get on there. So
yeah. I'm down to hopefully we can get some. I doubt to be part of like the media team, So I think I'm gonna fire off an email to them and see if we can get in and ask some questions to some of those fighters there. What's next for you? You said you're waiting for a fight. Who's the opponent? Have you heard any names or anything like that?
Right now, I'm just waiting. I'm just waiting on an opponent to show up, and see who it is. Like that's the main thing. It's just the waiting game. It's just who's going to step up, because not a lot of people around here want to fight me. That's just the hardest thing. It's money mostly. It's either money or it's the fact that you got to fight this dude, and he's not going to lay down. He's not going to let you win. He's going to beat you up. He's going to put you through 15 minutes of hell. Who wants to go through 15 minutes of hell? So it's ultimately who it is. I've thought about calling people out, but pickings is so slim around here, and everybody's so particular about who they want to fight and all kinds of things. So it's just nerve-wracking. So best thing I can do is just keep training.
And speaking of beating up people, do you actually prefer finishing by KO or by submission?
I personally like submission better because it's something weird. It's something cool about taking someone's like consciousness away from them. As you don't know, submissions just seem cool to me. That's what I'm gonna say. The other part will sound like very dark.
No, trust me, I know exactly what you feel, man. It's like I've done jiu-jitsu for 13 years, and it's a nice feeling to get somebody to tap out. It's
because you get somebody and like you KO somebody, they can pop back up and be like, oh, well, you caught me, slacking. How I'm talking about, dude. Yeah, you caught me lacking, but like, did you really put me out? I'm up here, like. Knockouts happen all the time. It's like it's one of those damned if you do, damned if you don't. But if you get put in a submission, you mean you're in a submission. Well, that's like a prolonged death. That's like someone torturing you, and then they finally pull the plug. You're like, well, I got caught. You can't talk back from the submission. You can't.
So it's the same thing. Like when you're growing up, I don't know if you have any siblings, but like you get your brother or your sister on the floor and you pin them down and you make them give up. It's a good feeling. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah,
100%. Me and my sister used to do it all the time.
It's like say uncle, you get her to say uncle.
Yeah.
Which leads to my next question, actually. If you had to pick, I know you said you like wrestling and wrestling calls to you, but if you had to pick, if MMA didn't exist, you had to pick one martial art where you could be a pro at, same success, you're Dre Miley, the same guy, but in a specific martial art, and MMA didn't exist, what would it be?
That's tough. I'd like to do wrestling. Like watching the Olympics and how they do those open matches and stuff. I'd like to do that.
That's cool.
Because those guys, they go at it, and it's like super, super like high intense, high pace movement. And you're like, damn, those guys are moving fast, and then you're just like, they're really not doing much. So I would like to do something like that, or even jiu-jitsu tournaments. Like as much as I don't want to do a jiu-jitsu match, I would do a jiu-jitsu match.
You would, right?
Yeah, I would.
Yeah.
If there was any MMA fighters, past or present, that you would want to fight against?
Oof. Past or present?
Yeah, you get once in a lifetime opportunity. Past or present, choose one MMA fighter you want to fight. You would have fight, basically.
Oof. I'd probably pick Brian Bowles or what's the other dude's name? Miguel Ángel Torres, because I remember watching WC. Those two dudes were just nasty, and they were so mean with it. And of course, you'd have to fight Uriah Faber. You'd have to. I'd have to. Stupid not to. Like if that was like my fight to get in the UFC, and they're like, "This is the only way you gotta get to the UFC." They're offering you Uriah Faber. It's like 10 times out of 10, I'm taking that fight. I'm like, I don't care. So you get to fight somebody that you grew up watching, and that'd be dope. That'd be dope to me.
We'll tag Uriah Faber, everyone. Twitter, we'll call him out.
We'll clip this up. Call him out. You're gonna fight Uriah Faber one day. I'm telling you, just because of us.
If that happens, that'd be dope. I'm like, anytime I can make it to that, and then I can go to California and cross train with him. Oh, that's money right there.
Okay, we'll get it. We'll see what we can do. Honestly, that Miguel Angel Torres call is legit because I was a huge fan of his. I love the way he fought. He had that mullet, Chicago kid, man. He was really good. He was really fun to watch, and I don't know what happened to him actually. I don't know if he just kind of burnt out.
Yeah.
He kind of burnt out. Like, I don't know, but he was a sick fighter. He had championship potential on that guy for real, and he's a brawler too. I don't know. Too bad. Honestly, it's too bad. Some guys, you see all the potential in them, and they can't finish up. You know, it's a tough sport to make it in.
Yep. Well, you're right. That happens.
We appreciate you trying to make it in that sport, and good luck the rest of the way. Where can everybody reach you, Dre?
You can find me on Instagram on Dre Miley MMA 135. You can find me on Twitter. One, like as in the number, Dragon Dre. That's on Twitter, and and Facebook. You just type in Dre Miley. You can get on my personal page, fan page, whatever you want to do. Shoot me a message, talk shop, whatever you guys want to do. I'm down for it.
Well, as soon as you announce your fight, we'd love to have you on again, man. Honestly, it would be great
100%.
talking to you again. That was Dre Miley. Again, this episode is brought to you by Mike's BBQ Rub. Visit Mike's BBQ Rub, MTL.com, and use Hot Sauce 10 for 10% off the entire site. As usual, Alex, appreciate you coming on, buddy. Dre, honestly, from the bottom of my heart, it was fantastic talking to you. As soon as I saw you posted on Twitter that you needed a podcast, I'm like, this is the type of guy I want to talk to, and we appreciate you coming on, buddy, and we wish you all the best.
Appreciate that.
I appreciate you guys taking time and getting me on here and all the craziness that's been going on for the past few weeks. So
we're all trying
really
to
appreciate it.
It's
I
good,
really
man.
appreciate this.
Stay positive, and we'll talk to you soon. Peace.
All right, man. See you.